Howdy folks, I'm John and this is the garlic I grew this summer. Yeah, well actually I grew it over the winter. That's a whole story. Here's how it looked when I harvested it at the end of May. And you get some other stuff besides bulbs. You get these little scapes, they call them, which are pretty good sliced up and putting in your soups and salads and such. These come in ripe about a month before the bulbs are ready to harvest. The bulbs take a little bit of time also to cure afterwards. That's what this whole video is about. For instance, you're going to wind up getting the cloves like this, and you plant them about yay deep. And you ought to get good, strong ones from a reputable company. Plant them in good, fertile, deep, loamy soil. Make sure you keep up with even watering. More about that later. And after about 2 months or so, they'll be sticking up out of the ground. You plant them usually around middle of October. Different places might have different ways you go about it. And you go ahead and grow them all through the winter. They might be under a mulch, might not come out till the snow's gone. And then they'll grow hard and fast, and they'll have their roots under them. That's why you need a big, strong clove when you stick it in there. Then when the little flower pieces come out, you cut them off. And those will go in soups, salads, and all that sort of things. You can plant them in buckets like this, and when you start to see those lower leaves start to turn brown and yellow, that's when you stop the watering. You got to kind of pre-cure them a little bit. You almost cease all watering. You don't let the soil dry, totally dry. It's got to stay soft and loose too, because those bulbs have to be able to expand and spread out. And when you harvest, make sure that you do not just pull them, because they look like they're pretty strong and all that, but you could damage the outer wrappers. More about that later. And you really need to be gentle with them right now. They're not cured. They're not ready. So you pop them out of the ground. You got these little corms that you can take off. They're like a little bulb, and they can be planted also in the middle of October and eaten as green garlics all through the winter. If you let them grow through the spring and into early summer next year, they'll actually form a round bulb like an onion, but it'll all be garlic. And if you replant that the year after, you get really monster garlic. Go ahead and like, subscribe. I'll do that for you this year. So you go ahead and you take those out. You wipe off some of the heavy soil and everything like that, but you're not worrying about cleaning them now. And of course, they haven't been watered too much in the last 6 weeks or so before harvest. That's part of the process. But before that, that rich, soft, fertile, loamy soil has to have even watering once they start growing up pretty well out of the soil. All the way until you see those lower leaves turn brown. You should never ever let that soil become totally dry. And it shouldn't be saturated either. And it has to be so soft, you can see how soft the soil is. It has to be so soft that those bulbs can swell and expand. You should give each plant a good 9 inches apart from each other. I try to go about a foot. Once they start to crowd each other, it will restrict their growth and their size. So the more size you want those suckers to be a good far distance apart. Generally, you got to keep this fairly well weeded. They don't want to compete and fight against other plants. They like to be them with themselves. They're also a good companion plant for tomatoes and many other plants. So they're a good plant to have overall. So you go ahead and harvest these, and then you stack them in a cool, dry spot that's out of direct sun. And I just leave them out on this here table that's under an oak tree. And I'll leave them there for about 10 days, 2 weeks. And then you can peel off those outer wrappers and take away the stained portions. Trim off the roots, clip off the top, and then store them away somewhere. But see how this one's split? That's on account of I let it go about 10 days during a heat wave without any water, and just 10 days caused them to get dry. I saw them all kind of looking, oh, gee, we need water. And I gave them water, and it was too much. And some of them just swelled up then, and they broke those outer wrappers away. Now, when you have them harvested and cured after about 10 days, you can tear those outer wrappers away like I just did now. But you don't want to do it till they're really dry. I just harvested this a couple days ago. I just want to show you what happens if you do things like that. Like, you get bugs in there, you get rot. Fortunately, I didn't have any rot because our soil is drained so well. And I do tend to rotate the crops, so we don't tend to have diseases build up in any one particular area. And when you're done with the curing, if you want to, when you're ready to plant, you go ahead and take your biggest bulbs, take the largest cloves from them, plant them about that deep in the soil, and good, deep, rich, fertile soil in October. If it's got like good compost in it, lots of peat moss, all of those things that most plants really like a lot, give that to these, because you know these take 7-8 months to grow, and you can't really improve the soil on them once you have them planted. So improve the soil before you put them in, then mulch it very well, and you will have a very, very good soil going on for years and years if you're continually mulching. That's a big secret behind gardening, is mulch often, mulch deep, all with organic materials. And that helps regulate the soil moisture, although when you're at 90 degrees and the plants haven't had water for 10 days, well, they're going to show it pretty much no matter what they are. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and like and subscribe and see how the next harvest of garlic comes along. I'll be planting again in October, so you can see the planting video then. See you now. Bye.